Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to Global Vision's 5 Case Studies in Medical Translation and Localization webinar. My name is James White. I'm a project manager at Global Vision. We muted the outside audio, but do have the chat window available to you, should you have any questions. We will answer your questions at the end of the webinar or by emails as time permits. I'm really excited to have you with us today and hope you leave here ready to tackle your next translation project, perhaps with Global Vision as your translation partner. Today's presentation includes specific cases anonymized where we use actual projects to portray examples of some best practices. These may be useful for your upcoming translation and localization projects. Your company may fall into the realm of one or more of the case studies we're about to present. And since every company presents us with its own unique set of challenges, much can be gleaned from digging deeper into how different situations and requirements are handled. The medical industry, being highly regulated, places extremely rigorous controls on data, its interpretation, and its manner and method of delivery. Data changes and requirements change. Ultimately, flexibility and strong resources are key to translation accuracy. Translations also have to go through multiple review steps involving in-country staff and country-knowledgeable regulatory personnel. Managing the process and schedule is crucial and necessitates the tools required, designed to allow compliance, mitigate risks, and eliminate errors. The first case concerns regulatory approvals and global patient recruitment efforts for clinical trials. Both CTOs and CROs often manage trials involving participants from a number of foreign countries. These result in data that not only must be translated correctly, but must be both medically precise and culturally sensitive. A large portion of the communication in the clinical trial process takes place between clinicians and patients. Depending on the study site and the level of literacy of the patients, the patient-facing materials must be translated to match their reading levels, and the cultural component is equally important. Poor translations or lack of cultural sensitivity in translating questions will result in inadequate or inaccurate data. The trial is the most definitive method of assessing whether an intervention has the postulated effect. The patient-reported outcomes typically presents the greatest challenge and requires the greatest level of understanding to be applied to the interpretation of the results of said treatments. These are often strongly subjective and require clear, concise, and accurately translated data and feedback. Making the process challenging is that the companies in receipt of such data, or the CTO themselves, are often obtaining these data in many formats and programs, making consolidation and the back-and-forth questions to be done in a number of languages tricky to manage. Rapid expansion into diverse cultures and languages adds significant complexity to the clinical trial process. Also, important to note is that very often clinical trials are conducted in areas where less common languages are in use. Global Vision supports these languages as well. For one of our clinical trial clients, we managed the process and minimized the risk normally introduced through their extensive internal review process. To allow this, clients' files were prepared in table format where the English source was in one column and the translation in the following column. This can result in a slightly more challenging engineering and layout process, but it does facilitate interaction with a wide variety of reviewers and minimizes errors. With each translation project, we create a translation database where the translation matches the source text. This enables quick reuse of already translated text into new or updated documents, saving our clients time and money, and improving translation consistency. A common occurrence is the alteration of the source text by your foreign office, channel partners, distributors, etc. during your translation review or proof cycles. In this second case, the client's own reviewers took liberties in adjusting what was originally intended, putting the corporation at risk. After translation, the files were sent to the client's Japanese staff for a tertiary review. When we received their specific feedback, we discovered that the client's Japanese office made significant changes to the text such that it was no longer representative of the original English source. contrary to U.S. corporate's instruction, and, as importantly, against regulatory requirements. We thus created a specific process for tracking change requests. Global Vision knows that often your main U.S. office is unable to read the changes that your own reviewers are making to the professional translation. We have experience setting up processes that enable you to be the arbiter of what change requests are being suggested by your foreign offices or partners. The implemented process should also enable correct translation reuse and allow future updates of the product to proceed efficiently into all required languages. When packaging material is involved, typesetting and formatting can be challenging when going into different languages. In Case 3, we have to consider spacing limitations and special local regulatory requirements. In our support of packaging and supplemental support documentation, we have the experience and flexibility to know what is involved and turn around translations and layout changes to meet all international requirements and in the most cost-effective manner. Global Vision's desktop publishing teams are comfortable with every DTP layout program you may use. Our pharmaceutical and biotech clients have appreciated and benefited from this level of attention to detail. Translation localization services. In Case 4, we address some of the software localization needs. Many medical devices have limited display real estate, creating constraints on the length of the translated text. Optimally, with each software localization project, we should receive instruction on maximum string length, screen capture samples of the user interface, and any reference materials to help the translator better understand the context surrounding the user interface text. Consider this. An error interpreting a word as a verb, as opposed to a noun, and by the way, many words in English can be both, can have serious meaning consequences in the localized software. We have instructed this client of the best practices in software development before localization to minimize the common problems and limitation. This did save time and costs. It also greatly helped that our engineering staff and project managers are very experienced with their technologies and file types. Some of the technology and file types supported are shown here. They include text, binary report templates, and graphical formats requiring special linguistic and engineering quality assurance. And we support most computing development platforms and operating systems, including mobile and web-enabled technologies. Case Study 5, Simultaneous Releases. Most projects are guided by ongoing release cycles of source documents or the launch of a new instrument. Typically, the release is targeted to be nearly simultaneous across all languages, as is the case here. Unfortunately, changes to the source language can still be requested until the last minute of the release cycle. Strong coordination between Global Vision and the client was necessary. The communication of solid freeze time or drop-dead dates indicating when updates to the source files would impact the release date is an essential part of the service we bring. Factoring in local reviews and local approval cycles were under the client's control, but were firmly enforced as they do factor into the international release schedule of the projects. This is why the use of a translation management system that provides transparency to the whole process and to all stakeholders is fundamental. To satisfy the changing needs of our clients, Global Vision uses a comprehensive translation management system, allowing for the management of the assigned team, your projects, your translation assets, and the communications necessary to effectively build the best possible translation based on your organizational style and needs. The translation management system usually consists of 3 modules. 1. The project workflow, where projects are initiated, tasks are assigned, scheduled, and tracked. 2. The translation assets repository, where translations are implemented and stored and where terminology is entered and shared. 3. The collaboration modules, where stakeholders interact to document and address any queries, issues, or other important aspects of the project. All 3 modules work hand in hand to streamline the translation and localization process and create the needed environment to deliver high-quality, timely products that meet the needs of regulatory bodies, medical service providers, and most importantly, patients. Furthermore, the use of the translation management system enables us to support all languages, perform reviews by independent secondary translators, create a translation memory for each language requested, offer professional layout or desktop publishing in all standard file formats for all languages, perform blind back translation when needed, and provide 24/7 access to the translation assets and project tracking. And we offer additional related support services, such as medical interpretive services performed consecutively over the phone, medical transcription services in all languages, and offering a certificate of accuracy upon request for your 21 CFR Part 11 compliant records. A little bit of info about Global Vision. We have been providing translation services for almost 2 decades. We are US-based with global offices and production centers. We have amassed over the years an exhaustive life science satisfied client list. How satisfied? Recent survey results show. Quality met the needs of 98% of the respondents. 99% said projects were delivered on or ahead of schedule, and 99% said the budget was met. How is that achieved? 98% said that our staff contacted them promptly. 99% said that phone calls and emails were returned promptly. And 100% said that we set project details and expectations correctly at the start of the project. Listen to a couple of recorded testimonials from our clients.
Since we started working with Global Vision 5 years ago, we haven't had to nurse our projects along. This is a big bonus for us. Based on our experience, we can highly recommend Global Vision to handle translations of medical device user documentation into both European and Asian languages.
Global Vision has been a great fit for our translation and localization needs. We deliver a technically complex, high-value product, and we need translation quality that reflects that value.
Many, many more can be found on Global Vision's website, and we hope to be able to add a quote from you in the near future. Finally and quickly, here are 9 additional reasons why you should consider partnering with Global Vision. You will have access to a free translation management system enabling 24/7 access to your project status and assets. We are a full-service translation vendor supporting 100+ languages. We are focused on you, the customer, and your end users. The translation database is your intellectual property. There's no fine print in our contract keeping you from owning it. While we are not the lowest cost vendor, we guarantee lower long-term localization costs due to translation reuse and advanced processes. We are local with global presence, flexible and scalable to meet your growing needs. We've managed projects for life science companies around the world from a few $100s to multi-million dollars in size. We hand-pick our professional staff from dedicated project manager to language and subject matter experts, local and international. We are ISO 9001-2008 certified. We are process and results driven. You get the best people, process, and technology. We will be your strategic language service partner that will always deliver on time, on budget, and according to set expectations. Thank you again for joining us as we share with you Global Vision's 5 case studies in medical translation and localization. Okay, well, it looks like we're out of time and we're going to need to answer your posted questions via email. Please email me at james@globalviz.com if you haven't yet posted your questions for me, or if you simply want more information. I can also arrange for you to receive a personal consultation regarding strategies for your next translation or localization project. Please do email me any comments that you have, or to get a copy of the slides I've just presented. Have a wonderful day.